For a moment. I didn't say anything.
No, my darling, but you'll
In
face
his
it.
letters, he really finds solace in the romance.
What if I told you that Blood of My Blood episode 5 is about to tear apart everything we thought we knew about Julia, Ellen, and Henry? This episode is not just another step forward. It's the point where love, betrayal, and destiny collide in ways no one saw coming. Every glance, every whisper, every forbidden move will carry the weight of the future. And the most heartbreaking part? Nothing will happen the way we want it to. Episode 5 of Blood of My Blood picks up right where the storm of episode 4 left us hanging. Julia and Ellen, two women bound not only by circumstance but also by a fate larger than themselves, are finally beginning to understand that their stories are intertwined. They may not know it yet, but every decision they make from here on will determine the course of generations. And while episode 4 showed us the tender spark of a friendship, episode 5 will put that bond to the test in ways that neither woman is ready for. From the very start, tension fills the air. The shadow of Belton looms closer, and with it, Ellen's dreaded marriage to Malcolm Grant. On the surface, it looks like a simple political arrangement, a desperate move by Colum to secure his clan's survival. But beneath that, a storm brews. Ellen's heart is already promised to Brian, and Julia is the only one who understands her pain. In the cold walls of Castle Leoch, Ellen feels trapped, suffocated by duty, while Julia quietly takes it upon herself to become her ally. This is not about friendship anymore, it's about survival. Meanwhile, Julia's life is spiraling into deeper conflict. Her alliance with Brian, fragile yet necessary, threatens to expose her at every turn. She is pregnant, vulnerable, and torn between the lies she must tell to survive and the truth her heart aches to protect. Every step she takes is dangerous. To Lord Lovat, she must remain his English rose, loyal and pliant. But to herself, she is still Henry's wife, Henry's Julia, the woman who once dreamed of a future in London with her child and her husband safe by her side. Episode 5 will force her to walk the knife's edge between these two worlds, and one wrong move could cost her everything. At the same time, Henry is edging closer and closer to Julia without even realizing it. His duties under Clan Grant keep him bound to men like Isaac, who values strength over compassion, power over justice. And yet Henry cannot silence the voice inside him that refuses cruelty. We saw this in episode 4 when he defied orders and found a way to treat tenants with dignity. Episode 5 will push this conflict even further. The more Henry resists, the more dangerous his position becomes. And as he edges closer to Belton, to Julia, and to the truth of her situation, he risks not just his honor, but his very life. But what makes episode 5 truly unforgettable is the way destiny begins to weave its threads more tightly around the characters. Ellen and Julia, those strangers just days ago, find in each other the strength to fight back against forces much greater than themselves. Julia's tragic knowledge of love lost fuels her determination to prevent Ellen from making the same mistake. Ellen, in turn, begins to see Julia not just as a friend, but as a sister of circumstance, someone who understands the ache of forbidden love. Their partnership is fragile, secretive, and yet powerful enough to shake the very foundation of the clans. The emotional intensity of episode 5 is heightened by the unspoken moments, the lingering glances between Ellen and Brian, the quiet desperation in Henry's search, and Julia's silent tears when she realizes how little control she truly has. Every flashback, every memory of Henry, every whispered promise carries unbearable weight because we know where this story is heading. Claire's very existence hangs on Julia's ability to survive these impossible choices, and watching her struggle makes every scene feel like a ticking clock. As Belton approaches, the stakes rise higher. The festival, meant to symbolize renewal and unity, becomes a stage for betrayal and heartbreak. Ellen knows that once she pledges herself to Malcolm Grant, her fate is sealed. Brian knows he cannot let that happen. Julia knows that helping them risks exposing her own secrets. And Henry, caught in the whirlwind, does not yet realize that the love of his life is standing just steps away from him. The collision course is set, and episode 5 will be nothing short of explosive. But here's the most chilling part. Episode 5 will not give us the happy reunion we crave. Instead, it will dangle it just close enough for us to feel it in our bones. Julia and Henry's eyes finally locking across the chaos of Belton. A heartbeat of recognition, a surge of hope, only for it to be ripped away as cruel reality sets in. Because Julia is no longer just Henry's wife. She is also Lord Lovat's mistress, Brian's ally, Ellen's confidant, and a woman bound by chains she cannot yet break. So, when the fires of Belton burn bright, we will see more than just a wedding gone wrong. We will see love tested, promises broken, and the beginning of a partnership between Julia and Ellen that will shape the course of everything that follows. Episode 5 is not just a continuation, it is the turning point, the place where the story of Blood of My Blood becomes unforgettable. The fire at Belton is not just a flame on the hillside, it is a symbol of everything about to be destroyed and reborn. Episode 5 will plunge us directly into the heart of that chaos, and every character we've been following will step into the light of those burning torches, unable to hide anymore. Secrets will surface, loyalties will shatter, and choices will cut deeper than any sword. For Ellen, this night is supposed to mark her submission to fate, her acceptance of Malcolm Grant as her husband, and her family's sacrifice for survival. But Ellen has already chosen her heart's path. The way she looks at Brian, the way she trembles when his name is whispered, makes it impossible for her to follow through. She is desperate, torn between her clan's survival and her own happiness, and Julia's words echo in her mind. Follow your heart, no matter the cost. As the vows draw near, Ellen's courage is tested in a way that will change everything. Brian, on the other hand, walks into Belton ready to risk everything. To him, Ellen is not just love. She is freedom, redemption, and a chance to create a future that is his own. But stealing her from Malcolm Grant in the middle of a wedding is no simple task. Every move is dangerous. Every glance could expose them. And while Brian is ready to throw caution aside, Julia knows that recklessness comes at a price. Her role as the messenger, the bridge between Brian and Ellen, grows heavier with every passing moment. She knows that if they fail tonight, Ellen will be trapped forever, and she herself will be dragged even deeper into Lord Lovat's grasp. And then there is Henry. He arrives at Belton as a guest, unaware of the storm waiting for him. His mind is torn between duty to the Grants and the aching emptiness left by Julia's disappearance. Every face he scans in the crowd, every laugh, every flicker of torchlight reminds him of her. And then, for the briefest second, it happens. Across the crowd, past the flicker of fire and shadows, his eyes meet Julia's. The world seems to stop. His chest tightens, his heart races. She is there, alive, beautiful, and yet so far away. But just as quickly as hope ignites, reality snuffs it out. Julia is not running to him, not smiling, not crying out his name. Instead, she stands at Lord Lovat's side, his so-called English Rose, the woman carrying his child. For Henry, the sight is a dagger straight through the heart. For Julia, the pain is even greater because she cannot explain, cannot tell him the truth. Not here, not now. That single glance between them carries years of longing, love, and heartbreak, and the audience knows in that moment. This reunion is not happening tonight. Fate is still cruel. The chaos that follows is nothing short of explosive. Brian's attempt to steal Ellen away does not go as planned. Instead of a daring escape, the night descends into confrontation. Families clash, alliances fracture, and voices rise above the roaring fire. Ellen, caught between two worlds, refuses to give herself to Malcolm Grant, and the humiliation ignites fury among the clans. Brian, outnumbered but unshaken, declares his love openly, willing to die for it if necessary. Julia, in the shadows, pulls Ellen close, urging her to stand firm. She is no longer just an observer. She is a fighter in Ellen's battle, because she knows what it feels like to lose everything to duty. Meanwhile, Henry watches all of this unfold, torn apart by conflicting emotions. He wants to run to Julia, to drag her away from Lovat's grip, but he knows it would ruin them both. He wants to protect Ellen and Brian, but he cannot betray the Grants openly. He stands frozen, a soldier at war with himself, knowing that the choices he makes in these moments will define not only his future but Julia's as well. The brilliance of episode 5 lies in these layered tensions. Every character is on edge, every secret threatens to unravel, and the audience feels the weight of it in every beat. When Ellen finally refuses to speak the vows, the silence that follows is deafening. Malcolm's pride is shattered, Colum's strategy collapses, and the entire gathering erupts into chaos. It is not just a failed wedding, it is the spark of a larger conflict, one that will ripple through families, clans, and generations. And in the midst of this disaster, Julia and Ellen find each other again. For the first time, they are not just two women bound by circumstance. They are allies, sisters in defiance, bound by the courage to fight for love against impossible odds. Julia realizes that protecting Ellen also protects herself, because if Ellen can find the strength to resist her chains, then maybe Julia can too. Their whispered promise to meet again, to share information, to keep fighting, feels like the birth of a secret rebellion. But the heartbreak remains. Julia and Henry do not reunite in episode 5. Instead, they are left with the torment of knowing the other is alive but unreachable. That stolen glance across the flames becomes the most haunting image of the episode, a reminder that fate is not ready to give them peace. Julia remains bound to Lovat, Henry remains trapped in duty, and both of them remain at the mercy of forces too strong to break, for now. Episode 5 leaves us with more questions than answers, but one truth becomes clear. This is the turning point. Love has been declared, alliances have been shattered, and the bond between Julia and Ellen is stronger than ever. From here on, every step forward will be riskier, every choice more dangerous, and every reunion more costly. Blood of My Blood is no longer just about survival, it is about the price of love, and episode 5 makes us feel that price in every heartbeat.